You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time.
As of time of recording, it's only right that I congratulate yourself, Charlie Touche, and the rest of the United States for qualifying to the knockout stages of the World Cup. We didn't discuss the England-United States game prior to or after the win against the Texans. Before I continue, am I okay calling the United States, or should I call them America? Like, I know in the UK, some people call them the USA, some people call the country America. Like, what is the official name of the country that you live in and the Miami Dolphins play in?
All right, so yeah, all right. There's a couple. There's like 4 questions in that really. So if you're just talking about soccer, we call the soccer team United States men's team. That's what we call the soccer team, United States men's team. We don't even call them nothing else other than that, just United States men's team. If you're talking about how do we like say the country that we live in, we just say we live in the States, United States. No one, I've never heard anyone say I'm from North America or I'm from America. Honestly, I've never heard someone say that. Maybe, yeah. Nah, if you're born and raised here, you probably just say you're from the States, United States.
That's really interesting because I think we've had a conversation previously when you said, are you from Great Britain, United Kingdom? I'm like, no, I'm just from England. Mm-hmm. I always assumed if I asked an American what country they live in, they say, well, I live in America. But that's just not what people who are born and raised in. See, again, I'll say born and raised in America, but I guess it's born and raised in the United States. Is that correct?
Yeah, it really. I can't be the only one that thinks like this. It's if someone a regular, like, we'll just go with GTD affiliates. If you ask Sherrod Steve, if you ask the Casker brothers, if you ask any of the GTD affiliates, where do you say you're from? You probably just say you're from the United States. But we did get that 1-0 victory over Iran today. Got a result. We have to play the Netherlands Saturday morning. I'm not gonna say what I'm doing, but I don't trust it. But I don't trust it. I'm just saying, it was cool. How many goals we got in 3 games? 1? Like, did we
2.
even score? Did we score against Wales?
Yeah. George Weah scored against Wales, and then they finished 1-1.
Okay. You know what? We did. I actually seen that goal. I'm tripping. So we got 2 goals in 3 games. I'm not excited. I ain't gonna lie. I was watching it today at a wing spot. It was pouring down rain here, lightning, and it was intermittent while we were watching it. So I had to watch it on the phone. I was not thrilled at all. I thought it was gonna be another draw. So we'll see what happens. We entered the knockout stage. What about the lads though? I seen the lads. Y'all call them the lads over there?
I don't call them nothing. Like I don't rep and support the England team. I was at the, I don't know if you can see that, the Great British Beer Festival. Can you see that? Okay.
Yeah, we can see it.
So I was drinking beer. I was tasting beer. I then went to a pub, a typical great English pub, to catch England Wales, and I really couldn't care about it. I saw England beat Wales 3-0, and I was like, okay, great. Like, you you've done what you're supposed to do. Are they going to win the World Cup? No. But I say all of that to say this. So I went out to this Great British Bear Festival. I wanted to rep GTD, so I wore this. If anyone hasn't seen this yet, it is a Go Time Dolphins / Grand Theft Auto mock-up of myself, my sister, who does the voice, and then Charlie Touche. So I'm at the bar. I will talk Dolphins in a minute. I'm at the bar and I'm ordering a pint of beer. And this guy says to me, pointing at you, saying, "Is that Asher D?" And I was like, "No." So have you seen or
Who's
heard
Asher
of?
D?
So have you seen or heard of the TV show called Top Boy?
I heard of it.
So Asher D is one of the main guys in Top Boy. He was also part of a UK rap / garage group called So Solid Crew. So before we truly delve into the show, talk Dolphins, all that kind of stuff, I am going to show you a photo of Asher D. Now, again, I would never ever think, hey, Charlie Touche Asher D. But this guy asked me, hey, is that Asher D? So if you are watching on YouTube,
Nah, y'all acting, bro. Y'all acting.
dude, on my life, this guy asked me, is Charlie Touche of Go Time Dolphins in this photo a photo of Asher D? And I will pick this one as the one to enlarge. This is who the guy asked me. I was like, no, it's not. I had to explain Go Time Dolphins, all that kind of stuff. But this bloke in a London pub asked me if you were Asher D. So Asher D, aka Charlie Touche, how are you?
Hey, Charlie Touche it is, bro. You know what I get, Kadeem? I get Kevin Hart a lot, bro. Like everybody says I look like Kevin Hart, and I don't see it, bro. You think I look like Kevin Hart, bro?
Not in the no,
Bro, I get Kevin Hart all the time, all the time, bro. And then when chicks tell me, "Oh, you look like Kevin Hart," I be like, "You think Kevin Hart's attractive?" That's the only comeback I got. You feel me? But nah, man. I used to get 50 Cent, and I used to get Andre 3000. I actually had long hair before I had braids and would throw it out and stuff. So maybe I did look like Andre a little bit, but nah. Usually when someone, there's only one time in life, Kadeem, where someone showed me the picture and said, "Oh, this person looks like you," and it was a rando. I'm like, "Dang, dog, dude, kind of look like me, bro." You know what I'm saying? Like it was only one time ever, and it's never. Other than that, I've never seen like "Oh yeah, we do kind of reason." Nah, never. But it's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond but across the world. I'm your boy Charlie Touche. I got my co-host Kadeem Simmons with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast. Kadeem, I see you got your splint on, bro. You still wearing your splint?
I am.
I got a question, dog. Since we kind of on the topic of World Cup and you got hurt playing soccer, were you like injured and did you like flop and go down for like 10 minutes when you hurt your thumb playing soccer, bro? Because why y'all so notorious for flopping, bro? Why did you go out on a stretcher when you hurt your thumb?
No, I made the save. And I kind of like, shook my hand off. Like that kind of hurt. And then it wasn't until I got home I was like, okay, it still hurts because like I played basketball before. So not sometimes like someone passes the ball to you and like you kind of like it hit your finger and like okay that hurts. I thought I could
we call it a jam finger.
Yeah, a jam finger. I thought I could I'll be good. The pain will go away. It is what it is. The pain hasn't gone away. It still hurts now. I'm just like, it is what it is. I have to just.
Bro, why do y'all flop though in soccer, Kadeem? Why does someone barely like the wind might blow them over, and next thing you know they're holding their shin for like 3 whole minutes? What's up with that, bro?
So that, I guess, ironically, comes from European culture. So it's something which us UK, almost like But 10 minutes into Go Time Dolphins, haven't even mentioned Dolphins yet, but it is what it is. So UK football sees diving or getting hit and rolling around for 5 minutes like, do no one touch you. That is seen as a like Italian / like South American culture, which UK
Hold
UK
on.
pun.
You said Italian, South American, and then you said European. Where we going, bro? Like, hold
So
up.
so
Like,
so so, so, so it's
can you just say it's just soccer culture?
no, because the UK are very proud. It's like we don't do that. We as in the UK only started doing this when mainly Italian players joined, you know, English football, but also Brazilians, Argentinians. So UK football, as in like the old school UK football people, they see all of that, feigning injury as a Italian, and it's very two contrasting sides of the world, Italy / Europe and South America. But that's essentially where they believe it comes from. So when you see someone like Neymar from Brazil get tackled and roll around, it's like, oh, that's just what he does. It's like, nah, like it's now become a modern part of football, no matter where you're from.
All right, Kadeem. It's Go Time Dolphins. We're going into the stretch of the season that everyone could not wait for. This is it. If we were undercover cops, Kadeem, and we were detectives and we were undercover and we were with the bad guys for a long time and we were just like them, talking like them and acting like them, this is where the truth, the proof is in the pudding. This is where the truth comes out. Like, we take out our badges. Ha, we're here. We're about to find out who the Dolphins are right now. We go on this 3-game road trip. We play at San Fran, at LA, at Buffalo. The world cannot wait to see who the Miami Dolphins are. And Sherrod Steve texted me today and said, we could not have picked a worse time to lose Teron Armstead. And I responded to Sherrod Steve and said, there's never a good time to lose Teron Armstead. What are we looking like this week coming up, man?
I can agree. So I mentioned this during the Texans review, which you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. It's a lot of fun. I mentioned losing to Ron Armstead, and immediately when we lost him in that Texans game, you saw the entire offensive line essentially just fall to pieces. I think when Teron Armstead was out injured earlier this season, the offensive line wasn't quite the same. I think there's an argument to be made that while Tua has a legit chance of being league MVP, some people would argue that the Dolphins MVP of the team is probably Teron Armstead, simply because of the night and day difference when he's playing and when he isn't playing. Again, I mentioned the Texans review episode. I think that Coach McDaniel continued to scheme plays like Teron Armstead was still on the field. I don't think he'll make the same mistake against the 49ers. But yeah, it's an awful stretch of games to lose Teron Armstead, especially when that first stretch of games is against what many consider and believe is the best defense in the NFL in the San Francisco 49ers.
Kadeem mentioned the Texans review episode. Y'all go check out that episode, bro. Shout out to Drakey. This man has the most epic Photoshop of myself and Kadeem Simmons, bro. Looking like you know what? Y'all just got to go see it. Yeah. Here's my thing, Kadeem. I really believe this is the Super Bowl preview. I believe the Miami Dolphins are going to the Super Bowl. I believe all right, I'm gonna be very clear. I think the Miami Dolphins are going to the Super Bowl. If I was a betting man, which everyone who listens to this podcast knows I am, I would bet the Dolphins go to the Super Bowl, or I would bet the Dolphins go to the AFC Championship and play the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship. Whatever happens after that, happens after that. I think the San Francisco 49ers go to the NFC Championship. But matter of fact, I don't even think they just go to the NFC Championship. I think the Niners are going to the Super Bowl, period. So because I think this is an actual Super Bowl preview, I'm not gonna lie to you. I said this on the last episode, Kadeem. I'm like, when the season started, I was not worried about San Fran. I looked at the schedule. Shout out to you. You said the Dolphins were your season prediction was 12-5. My season prediction was 14-3. And I would bet, Brad, that the Go Time Dolphins had the most optimistic look on the Miami Dolphins as a podcast this season. Probably no other podcast out there was as optimistic as us combined. That being said, San Fran was not on my concern list at all. You know, you look at the schedule, you say, okay, here are the wins. Here is where I think our losses are. Then you probably have like a tier where it's like, we could lose that game. We could struggle there. San Fran, bro, I was not even like, no, bro, we're not losing to San Fran. Bro, they made some adjustments. They got Christian McCaffrey. They look real good right now. And we lost Teron Armstead. Not the storm that you want to go into San Fran with. It's a road game. Not saying we're going to lose, but there is concern now. All that being said, Kadeem, Bart Scott. Everyone who knows who Bart Scott is of ESPN, Keyshawn Johnson, Chris Canty, Booger McFarland. The biggest Dolphin haters there are out there right now. Well, some of the biggest Dolphins haters, because there's so many of them. Those are just some of the biggest Dolphins haters. And Bart Scott was on his podcast today and was just excited that the Dolphins, hey, look at the Dolphins' next 3 games. Like, look at the next 3. He was just happy. He was elated. Shout out to Same Old Dolphins, because they have, what do they call it? Post check, where you have to say a word. And I think my word was elated once upon a time over there on Same Old Dolphins. And mine was elated because I knew this would look like the Dolphins would look like the way we look now. We are what I thought we were. Bart Scott, on the other hand, is elated because we have to play San Fran, at LA, and at Buffalo. He just thinks it's a wrap. Now, if you are one of those Dolphin fans that can't believe we are where we are right now, you just doubt, you're not as optimistic, and you're a glass half empty Dolphin fan, you're probably looking at the next 3 games like, oh, this is it. This is where we take the 3 games. All of a sudden, we go from 8-3 to 8-6, and we're barely on the playoff cusp. That's fair. I ain't gonna lie to you. That's very fair. And Teron Armstead is not there, so you have no idea what this team is gonna look like. But I gotta tell you, bro, this is where real teams prove their identity, make their identity. Forget all that. Oh, it is a 1-score game. You barely won. Well, that's the difference between winners and losers. You know what I'm saying? So, yes, you have to win these games. Now, my hope, and I like to consider myself one of the most logical and rational Dolphin fans there are, my hope is that we come out of these next 3 games winning 2 of 3. It would be nice to sweep these next 3 games, because then I could say my prediction is on par. But I don't think it's likely that we come out of these next 3 games 3-0, right? I would love to see it. I would love to scream MVP for Tua. I would love to say Coach of the Year, Mike McDaniel. Look at what we're doing. This is going to be a tough stretch, bro. I'm no longer worried about the Chargers. It's like I changed my Chargers concern to the 49ers, and this is where we are.
Yeah, 100%. And again, I mentioned on the Texans review episode, I genuinely believe the Dolphin/Tua haters, they look at this stretch of games and they're rubbing their hands, licking their lips, going, this is where Tua especially gets found out. Now, we'll cover obviously more in the preview, but say the Dolphins do lose to the 49ers and the score is 20-13. Dolphins put up 13 points on offense. Given that this is okay, and of those 13 points, 6 come in the first half, 7 come in the second half, yeah? And, the 49ers drive down the field, final play of the game, touchdown, cool, fair enough. CMC runs it in. The Keyshawn Johnson,
Yeah.
the Colin the Clown, all those kind of people, they're going to go, see, I told you so. The Dolphins played a legit contender and they lost. Tua only put up 13 points. Where was the long, just they will get on Tua's neck. No one's going to turn around and say Tua lost his franchise left tackle. And no one will turn around and say that the Dolphins put up 13 points, including 7 in the second half against the best defense in the league. No one's going to say that. I can't bet my PS5 because that's already on a separate bet.
You already.
But I would bet my gaming screen, and my PS5 controller,
Hold on. You're not gonna include the controller when I beat you?
Gotta have 2 controllers, and this controller is in the Dolphins colors. Like, yo, hey, you see it? So like no one's going to make that logical nuance take. No one's going to make that take. Because the same way no one turns around and the Jets being where they are, no one turns around and says, well, what quarterbacks have this Jets defense beaten?
I mean, they beat Josh Allen.
And that is legit. But
Yeah.
they also beat Skylar Thompson. Was it even Mitch Trubisky who they beat against the Bears? I can't remember. I don't know the Bears first string. And it's the Dolphins and the Jets can only beat what's put in front of them. That's all they can do. I'm not one to get involved in the conversation. The Jets have only beaten these quarterbacks because those are the same people that turn around and say, well, the Dolphins only beat the Lions, the Texans, all that kind of stuff. As to what you were saying, you predicted the Dolphins to go 12-3.
14-3.
So 14-3, apologies. You would have had the Dolphins to beat the 49ers, beat the Chargers, but lose to Buffalo.
No.
If I'm correct.
Beat the 49ers, lose to the Chargers, lose to Buffalo.
Okay, so even in your 14-3 prediction, the Dolphins were going to lose 2 of these games.
Yes.
If the Dolphins, and this is, again, we are a Dolphins podcast, so we can look 2-3 weeks down the line.
We don't play for the Dolphins.
Listen, hey, I'm a great DB. I can backpedal like the best of them. I'm just saying. Even in the injured hands, I'm a goalkeeper. I can listen.
You got the back pedal down, right? But go ahead.
I can turn my hips as well. You don't just know that. Even if the Dolphins lose to the 49ers, beat the Chargers, and then lose to Buffalo, I generally don't think there is any disgrace in that, because what the Dolphins would have essentially done in this 3-game stretch are lose to 2 teams who everyone and their mum, dad, and grandma are essentially saying are genuine Super Bowl contenders.
Mm-hmm.
So if the Dolphins lose to 2 genuine Super Bowl contenders, having already beaten a genuine Super Bowl contender in Buffalo earlier on this season, and to a lesser extent, the Ravens, is that really the end of the world? Now, listen, I want to go 1-0 every single week. I want us to win the next 3 games, starting with the 49ers. To cut a very long-winded point down, this is a genuine, true test of Mike McDaniel's 2022 Miami Dolphins. But there is, in my opinion, genuinely no harm if the Dolphins lose this game. If we record a podcast on Sunday and the Dolphins lose a close contest, I'm not going to come here and go, that's it, season's over. Bench two and now play like that. I will make a nuanced point based on what just happened. The Dolphins are going into a game against the 49ers with a team who haven't conceded a second half point since I believe it's week 7. And again, stop and think about that. This is a defense which in the second half they are clamp city against an offense which in the past was it 4 games have put up 30 points per game, which is tied for the franchise record at the moment. So this is the unstoppable force of the Dolphins offense against the unmovable object in the 49ers defense. It's going to be a thrilling matchup. We will discuss it a lot more on Fins Up Friday, but losing to an Armstead is a massive, massive, massive loss. So I would then ask you, and again, I'll preview it more on Friday, who would you start at left tackle?
I'm going Austin Jackson at left tackle. Listen, this is a Miami Dolphins podcast. If you're a Miami Dolphin fan and you listen to this podcast, there are different kind of fans out there. There are the fans that just want to be lied to. Like, just lie to me, make me feel good. I ain't gonna lie, that's not this podcast. Then there's fans that really want to hear your genuine opinion. That's more of this podcast. We say what we want to say, what we believe, unfiltered. I would like to think I'm not holding back nothing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to be real with you. If I think the Dolphins are going to lose a game, I'm going to tell you, hey, I think the Dolphins are going to lose this week. I do not think the Dolphins are going to lose this week, but I will say this. I need the Dolphin fans to hear this real quick. We are in the conversation. National media has all kind of segments this week asking the question, is this a potential Super Bowl matchup? Is this a Super Bowl preview? This is a legitimate question. People are actually saying that. People don't say that if your team is trash or if your team is a pretender. We are an actual contender. So we could get past the question of, are the Dolphins contenders or pretenders? We already passed that. We're contenders and we know it. Now this is potentially a Super Bowl preview. Not only that, Kadeem, we have made it to the place where Tua Tagovailoa Tagovailoa is in the conversation of MVP. He is literally in the same conversation of Patrick Mahomes. 1 year ago today, we could not say that. Why we couldn't say that is a different conversation. All right. For the people who believe in Tua and the people who don't believe in Tua, what you can't doubt is the Dolphins are 8-3. Tua is an MVP candidate, and he's balling. And the Dolphins are playing pretty good football outside of the second half of the Texans game. Straight up. So now we have a huge game coming up. And I know we like to say something that we already said on this podcast today. It's a podcast. We could talk about the next week and the next week and whatever we want to talk about. We're not on a team. We don't have to take 1 week at a time. Kadeem, I just want to win this one game. That is it. If we could win this game against San Fran, it will set a lot of things up. Because if you could come out of this stretch winning 2 games out of the next 2 of the next 3 games, you are most likely locked in for the playoffs. You're probably locked in. If you come out losing if you come out only winning 1 of the next 3 games, it's gonna be one of those too close for comfort things. I'm not gonna love it. If you lose 3 of these road games, Kadeem, bro, I ain't gonna lie. I don't know if I could take that. Like, I don't know if my heart could take that. You know what I'm saying? And then all the I told you this was gonna happen, and we're barely gonna get into the playoffs, and now you got to worry about who's winning, who's losing. Oh, are you in charge of your own destiny? I don't want nothing to do with that, Kadeem. I just want to win this week, because you win this week, you're still locked in for the 2nd seed, and it's a big difference, Kadeem, from the 2nd seed and a wild card week where you barely made it in the playoffs. So yeah, man, it's exciting times. I would feel a lot better if the O line would have held up better against Houston. The fact that we let Tua get touched like 6 times in 8 plays, it felt like, at least, was just, I didn't like that. So you going against one of the Bosa brothers. It's like, man, bro, like, not right now, man. So I don't know what we're gonna get, and I'm pretty sure we're gonna dive into it on the preview, bro. But what else you got for us?
Well, yeah, I asked you who I start at left tackle. I probably go with a friend of the podcast, Austin Jackson. Simply because Snell right now, for my money, is the best right tackle we have who's healthy. I then again, it's a podcast. We don't work for any other organization apart from ourselves. Listen, I'm sure he's a great dude. I don't really want to see Greg Little on Sunday. Like, that's something which, unfortunately, I don't think when he did get his opportunity, he didn't make the most of it. But like I said, I think Mike McDaniel will scheme around the offensive line. If he knows he doesn't have 4 seconds worth of offensive line blocking, he's not going to drop a play which takes 4 seconds to develop. I genuinely believe that. And I think, yeah, there's been so many conversations over the past few weeks as the Dolphins are winning these games where people are like, are the Dolphins real? The whole pretender contender thing. If the Dolphins can beat the 49ers, even if it's not convincing, if at the end of the game, the Dolphins win, I am telling you now, whatever show you watch, be it ESPN, Sky Sports NFL, Good Morning Football, no matter what channel you get your other NFL takes outside of Go Time Dolphins, the conversation will be, we have to take the Miami Dolphins seriously. If you weren't doing it before, this team is now 9-3, just beat the 49ers with your super points in the second half. The Dolphins are legit contenders to make it to the Super Bowl. It's very this is I don't believe it is a genuine litmus test for this Dolphins team.
Mm-hmm.
I think, as friend of the podcast, Mars Gaskin, said when he came on the show last off season, and again, if you haven't watched that episode, it's now on YouTube. Generally, go and check it out. I didn't believe the litmus test was the Buffalo Bills. We had to get over that hump. We had to beat the Buffalo Bills to show that, this isn't going to be a one-way beating for the next 10 years. We had to get that win. I think we got over our litmus test this season. This is just another test for this team, but there's tests every single week. Because same way when I had my 12-5 prediction, I was looking at, some of these games where it's like, on paper, the Dolphins should win, but, copyright, same old Dolphins, we're going to lose a game which we should not have lost. And I genuinely think, as of right now, week 13, the Dolphins haven't lost any games they should not have won, if anything, because the games the Dolphins have lost, we had a backup quarterback, if not a first-string quarterback, and I think that's a very telling thing. Yes, the Dolphins have a roster to overcome losing Tua, but the play we've seen from Tua this season means that, listen, you take out QB1, it's a different game. But that's for a whole other conversation. So, yeah, this isn't, if we lose to the 49ers, it's not the Dolphins are fake pretenders. Like, that's not the conversation. But, it would just be I think even for the team themselves, get over the 49ers, move to 9-3, and like you said, at that point, only the Dolphins can be 9-3 in week 13/14 and not make the playoffs.
No, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. We're not doing that.
But again, you said the Dolphins win 2 of the next 3 games, and it's a lock.
Yeah, you're locked. It's a lot. It's a lot.
And I'm saying only the Dolphins can be in that situation.
I'm not doing that, bro.
That's a whole other conversation.
You just said it could be if the Dolphins barely scrape by and get a W. Listen, I don't care what this game looks like. Tua could come out and throw 7 interceptions, bro. and the Dolphins could win 9-10. Dolphins win. I would not care how this game looks. We have to get the W. That is it. Find a way to bring home a W and bring it back on the plane like 2 weeks from now, because you're probably going to stay in California. So bring that W back with you. That is all that matters. I don't care what this game looks like. It's going to be some nasty blood, sweat, and tear type games. And this is maybe one of them. So I don't care what it looks like. We need to bring home the W. At the end of the day, when you come out of this 3-game stretch, matter of fact, forget the 3-game stretch, Kadeem. There's a chance if the Dolphins lose, the Jets win, and the Bills win, the Dolphins would now be in 3rd place in the division, have to play at the Chargers, still have to play at the Bills, right? And now you're looking around you like, hey, what are the Chargers records? What are the Bengals and the Ravens looking like? Where we at in the playoff picture? Or you could just win this one game. The Bengals can mess around and beat Kansas City, the Bills, and then all of a sudden you got the 1 seed now. So you could go from potentially getting the 1 seed to potentially being the 7th seed in 1 week, bro. Maybe the 6th seed in 1 week, bro. So this is football. It is what it is. There's no team, including the Chiefs. There's no team that was as dominant as the Chiefs were 4 years ago. Like, remember the Chiefs of 3-4 years ago when it was like, man, bro, Chiefs might go undefeated for the next 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Or the Colts when they had Peyton Manning. No, even though they only won 1 Super Bowl, man, no one wants to play the Colts. They're always 13-3 by the end of the season. You know what I'm saying? There's no dominant team like that, including the Chiefs. The Chiefs don't even look as dominant as they used to. There's no team like that in the NFL anymore. That is the level of parity that the NFL brings to the table, which is amazing. All that being said, Kadeem, you have to win 1 game, and that's this next game. And we will reevaluate after that. We will see if the Jets can pull off a win against Minnesota at Minnesota. Who knows? We will see if the Bengals can beat the Chiefs. They beat them last year in the regular season, then beat them again in the AFC Championship. I want to say it was the AFC. No, who did the Bengals play the Chiefs in the AFC Championship?
Yeah, because didn't the Chiefs knock out the Bills in that mental
right.
game?
All right, yeah, cool.
Then, yeah.
So the Bengals beat the Chiefs twice last year. One was at the goal line in the regular season, and then the other was in the playoffs. And then we're going to see if the Patriots can knock off the Bills. Let's see. Hey, y'all have at it. It's a free-for-all. Someone's got to come home with W's, and someone's got to walk away with L's. And hopefully we don't walk away with an L. And that's all I got, bro. So no matter how this game looks, there are teams playing for their life right now. And the Bills do not look like a team to worry about. It is what it is. And like, matter of fact, I think the Niners are better than the Bills right now. I'm going to be real with you. Since we're here and we're on this, like, midweek episode talk about the Niners, I think the Niners are a better team than the Buffalo Bills today. So, yeah, man, we got to get this W.
Yeah, 100%. But it's funny as well because the Niners are first in the NFC West. And if you look at who they beat, and again, it's very funny given where we thought they were going to be at the start of the season and where they are now. But I'm looking very quickly at their, who they beat. Lost to the Bears in week 1, beat the Seahawks in week 2, lost to Russell Wilson and the Broncos in week 3, beat a very beat up Rams team, beat the Panthers, lost to the Falcons, lost to the Chiefs, again, beat a very beat up Rams team, beat a very beat up Chargers team, beat a bad Cardinals team, and only put up 13 points against the Saints, even though, they held them out. Everyone who said the Dolphins haven't beaten anyone of note, in the nicest way possible, have the same conversation about the 49ers. Because I look at that and I'm looking at it going, honestly, who have they beat? Like,
hey, Kadeem, bro, that's pretty refreshing. Like, you just gave me some hope. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, I'm like, to be fair, 2 of those early losses were with Trey Lance.
Very true.
You know what I'm saying? Before he got hurt. Then Jimmy Garoppolo lost to Atlanta. Okay, I don't know how you do that, but you did. And then you like you just mentioned, you had a couple teams in there. Like, yeah, man, I ain't gonna lie, Kadeem. You just made me feel pretty good about what's going on this week, man. Hey, let's go get this W, man. The Niners ain't play nobody. Like, come on now. Hey, I'm back. I'm back on it, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I was looking at my parlays for this week, like trying to make a little algorithm for who I need to protect, what bets I need to protect. Man, let's go. Fire me up on the Dolphins, man. Money line. Dolphins money line. Give me them 4 points. What y'all doing, man? Let's go. Look at Kadeem, man. You got me right over here, bro. I like it, dog. You trying to get in the good.
That's why I'm the co-host. That's why we're here.
Hey, that's how you navigate, man. That's how you that's co-pilot. That's how you fly this plane, man. I like it. Let's get into bonus time, man. Y'all know what time it is. Stay positive, test negative. For Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's showtime. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's showtime. Going all out when it's go time.
Gross. Bro, hey, you got me. Hey, listen, I was like, before the episode started, I was really looking at my tickets. I'm like, dang, if I do this, because you know, there's a level of, what's the word I'm looking for? You got to study to make these bets. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I don't go hard anymore, because you can lose yourself in gambling. Again, if you need help, get the help. I got help, and I'm glad I got the help. I ain't gonna lie to you. So now when I look at these bets, I'm like, man, bro, if I put money here, I could put money there, and I could protect this bet, kind of hedge this bet. Do I want to hedge at all? Do I just want to live life on the edge? Who knows? But I ain't gonna lie. Kadeem just coached me up, and yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. No, we're gonna beat the San Fran. We're gonna beat them. I thought we were gonna beat them already, but now I don't have no problem. We're gonna beat them.
And again, it's a conversation which, again, like, I still think this defense is legit, because no matter how bad a team you're playing against, a team can still, you know, drive down the field and do something, is what it is. For them to not give up a single point in the second half since like week 7, like 100% need to be respected. Yep. Fair play to you. But, you know, I'm looking at the stats against the Saints, and I'm going to go back and watch that game, you know, to see what they're doing, all that kind of stuff. Jimmy G went 26 for 37 for 220 yards and one touchdown. Two are doing that in one half. Like, that's two as a first half stat. Like, is that what you're doing? You know, Christian McCaffrey had 11 carries for 32 yards, averaging 2.9 yards. Like, and again, McCaffrey's still a dude, but, you know, the way, again, if the Dolphins defense of the first half against the Texans shows up for even a half against the 49ers, I think we can, the same way, you know, we obliterated the 49ers last time we played them, and Mike McDaniel was like, yo, I need to be a part of that team, because that defense is like, you know, that's one of those things.
I made so much money that week, Kadeem. Like, and I was at this wing spot with Chibs and LB, and they had lost that week, and I couldn't be as excited because I had put Miami money line on my tickets, and they was like taking L's because the Chiefs had just lost to the Raiders that week, and I came in like, yo, Chiefs on upset watch, and then they lost, and then I was like, dang boy, Miami saved all of my bets, and I couldn't even be as excited, bro. But go ahead, my bad, I cut you off, bro.
Well, I was going to say, was anything you wanted to add, because you mentioned earlier about, you know, people say you look like Kevin Hart, which you genuinely don't. Like, that's not a thing. But there was someone who, when I was at uni and, you know, just finished uni, so I'm like, you know, between 18 and 22, there was this UK comedian who like this guy looked and dresses exactly like Kadeem. And I want to show you this guy. So I thought his name was Jazzy D. For whatever reason, that's not. I typed in Jazzy D into Google, didn't come up. Had to work out who he was. But this is the guy. His name is Jazzy Zonzolo. He is a UK comedian in a few movies. This is what the guy looks like.
Let's see what we got. Kadeem. We saying he looks like you?
People were like, I look exactly like this guy. And I was just like, I don't see it. Like,
Kadeem, they tripping, bro. Now, I'm gonna be real. Maybe in the eyes, you know what I'm saying? Like this area right here, this little strip right here, but that's it, bro. They acting, man. They acting, bro.
Like, like, give me 2 seconds. Like, this was in the episode. So I had a hat around there somewhere, which I can't find because
this is why this is bonus time. Kadeem want to improvise while we on air.
It's not improvising. I thought my hat was right next to me. It's not right next to me. Actually, it's around there somewhere. But yeah, like I genuinely like again, growing up, I still do. I wear baseball hats, like I'm always in a baseball hat, is what it is. I literally think people saw black dude, beard, baseball hat, Kadeem, and like that's exactly what people saw. Because
oh man.
Yeah. Me and this guy, he's like
nah, man. All right, I ain't gonna. The longer he's up here, the more I can see what they're trying to say. But nah, it's not enough to say you look like him, though. Nah, it's not enough.
Not at all. And like, just for anyone who's like, nah, Charlie, no, like,
hey, listen, I tell you, they be like, oh, you look like him. It's all the time, Kadeem. I get it all the time, maybe twice every 20 days. That's how much I get it, bro. Like 2 times every 20 days, I'm gonna get a Kevin Hart. Oh, you kind of look like Kevin Hart. All right, man.
You can't even grow a beard. Like,
yo, chill.
Like, I'm not,
chill, bro.
I'm just saying, like,
chill, bro.
Like,
yo, my bank account don't look like Kevin Hart bank account.
Yo, listen. If people want to pay you to do like Kevin Hart appearances, yeah, I'm sure you'll say yeah.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah,
I'll figure it out. Lucy.